rolling.
I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. Hi, this is Joe from New Hampshire Oil Undercoating, and today we're going to have a workshop. We're going to try to cover all the bases, how it works, the science behind it, how to prep your vehicle, how to look for safety issues prior to the undercoating service, and how to apply it and then maintain it. And then we're going to cover equipment. So today we have Danny from D&D, who's right next door. He's just going to tell you, we're going to say that you should have your vehicle inspected by your mechanic prior to undercoating it, just to be safe. Most people, they don't think about corrosion or rust because they're not proactive. So basically, the hardest problem for us today is a cultural problem. It's not really a technological problem. We're trying to get people to think about being proactive with rust. So if you can't have your mechanic and you come to us and you want, we'll have it, Danny look at it. But if not, he's going to give you some tips on what you might look for yourself prior to the treatment. Hi, Danny.
All right. So if you're going to look at this on your own, first you just want to be safe about it. They do sell ramps that you drive up and on, but a lot of times those can kick out on you, or you just want to be real safe about it. If you're not comfortable with it, definitely bring it in and have somebody that is to look at it. And what we're going to be looking for is the brake lines and any leakage or issues like that, because if it's oiled before we look at it, then everything's going to be covered and we won't be able to tell if there's a leak. Also, what you want to look for is any major rust issues. So you can take a little hammer and just tap on the frame or any body issues to see if anything is structurally
Deficient.
Yep. And yeah, stuff like that. So
Good. And some of the inspections today are getting pretty difficult. The safety inspections is getting, more difficult to be able to, overlook this stuff, and you really need to pay attention to it. So again, if you have any question at all, take it to mechanic, bring it in. If you come and see us, Danny will take a look at it. He's right next door, D&D Automotive. Okay? All right. Thanks, Danny. So I'll take questions from anyone anytime. So half the people in here, I think, are, if not more, are dealers or interested in being a dealer and just coming in for some type of training. Either way, whether you're going to do it as a service or you're going to do it for yourself, it's still the same procedure. Maybe slightly different equipment. So I'll cover some of the equipment today. If you order a do-it-yourself kit from us online, I don't know, did you order anything yet, Dave? No? So if you do, and we have a couple of different options for you, the basic kit comes with this gun here. This is, none of our equipment, by the way, is made in China. I have some Chinese stuff. If you see a cup gun like that, just walk the other way. I had them send me samples from China. And it's sad. I think it's a complete waste of time and good materials. It's a rust-proofing gun, and when half the products out there now are petroleum-based, so when you put petroleum through it and your hoses all swell up, they're not resistant to it. I mean, it gives you a little indication as to the short-sightedness of their manufacturing process. So we have a company in Taiwan, and they make, We've used all the equipment before we sell it. We've had very good luck with it. It's a Canadian company that imports it. We also use a company who imports guns from Italy. We actually ran our shop with this gun and this Italian gun, which is the same as this setup. It just has, instead of a hollow tube, it has controls up at the end of it. So you can use it to, you can adjust the pattern as well as the flow. That's a good gun. The only drawback to this gun is just, you got to fill these quarts up, right? So but if you're only doing it once, like Dave, I mean, you don't need a whole lot of these. If this is what you're using in your shop now, you guys aren't, I know that. Get yourself a half a dozen or a dozen, and then just fill them up and have them ready, and that'll get you through one application without any re-upping the bottle. So This gun here comes with the kit. It's a hollow tube, but it's not a bad, so there is some assembly on this one. So you're just going to put your tip on like this. Then you've got a feeding tube. You're going to screw in the feeding tube. As far as air pressure, you really should have as much air as you can. You can run this on a small air compressor, but what you'll do is you'll be playing catch up. You know, you'll be running out of air, and you'll have to stop and wait for your compressor to catch up with you spraying. Anywheres from 40 to 80 pounds of pressure will run this. You put on whatever adapter you're using for your quick disconnects, will screw right on here. So you need a female adapter. So that gun's ready to go. You fill your quart cup up. Okay, connect your ear, boom, ready to go. Joey's going to spray with most of the stuff today. So that's one. So the product will go on, no problem with any of the rubber sails, bushing, gaskets on the undercarriage. It's not going to harm anything. It doesn't conduct electricity. There's no solvents, no detergents. The base of this product is Resolute oil. It's petroleum that's been highly refined so that there's no there's nothing in there that it's food grade mineral oil is what it comes down to. Anything that we put in it is not going to hurt the environment or the vehicle. So corrosion inhibitors, we use green corrosion inhibitors. We have it has the ability to displace moisture, which, does anyone know what WD-40 stands for? I know Mike does, right? Water displacement on the 40th formula. So I think WD-40 may have been one of the very first oil-based rustproofing products made by the Rocket Chemical Company long time ago. It's a good product. It's a generic product, though, for different things. So they don't have a formula that's for one specific application. It works good for, let's say, someone that wants to get a loose bolt out. And ours will penetrate and get it out, but they want to clean up some of the stuff, so there's solvents and stuff in there that will kind of clean it up for you. That's not what we have in ours. Ours is specifically, and as far as I know, almost the only product out there designed by the guys who spray it to go on an automobile undercarriage. We started out using another product. It was a lanolin-based product. It was a good product. It was really designed for marine applications back during World War II when there was a petroleum shortage. The military, the Army in particular, has and still does to this day, we bid on contracts for them, use petroleum, cosmoline and things like that. And oil, the science behind oil is pretty simple. It will go on. Our oil will displace moisture, fight on a chemical level with corrosion inhibitors, doesn't conduct electricity, and the presence of the oil does two things: cut the oxygen. So you take oxygen or moisture out of the equation and you do not have oxidation. So as long as it's on there, you kind of hold the rust at bay. The fact that it's on there also gives you a barrier. So today they use brines on the roads. I don't know if you guys use them in Vermont, right? But and worse than that, they put an additive in it that's a byproduct from distilling alcohol, and it's very sticky. So it does a great job at staying on the road, allowing that chemical to be active during colder temperatures. But when you drive over it, it doesn't discriminate, so it sticks onto your vehicle. Well, if you've got oil on there, it's not going to do that, okay? The oil, just the presence of it, is probably 90% of how this works. It's really not hard to understand. And people have been oiling cars, and they still do, and you don't know about it. They do it the old school way, which is they take spent motor oil and things like that. And I've played with that, and we've used that, but I did a little research, and it's really bad for the environment, and it's bad for you, and it isn't good for your vehicle. I oversprayed my truck one time, and my windshield wipers dissolved. And so I put the truck up, and I started touching all the rubber, and I was almost poking my hand through it. So, that's why we ended up trying to find a product more specific, and one where the EPA, they wouldn't frown on it. But it has to be effective. I don't want, just something that, say, oh, well, it's green and I'm, but it doesn't work. This product does, and if you apply it, even if you don't get 100% coverage, the cool thing is that it creeps. It's designed to do that, and this aggravates some people. But when I see you spray inside your door panel and I see oil coming up here, and yeah, dirt and stuff is it's going to attract it. People come up and they complain. Old lady will come in and say, oh, I got this, and I'll wipe it off for her. But I get excited when I see that because that's what I want the oil to do. So if it's doing that outside here, and we didn't put it outside, we put it inside, what's it doing inside? So inside, it's going up your body cavities, and let's say a cross member of your pickup truck, right? You spray through it, you get maybe 75, 80% coverage with the first application. Well, on a warm month, that oil is going to actually creep into the seams, the spot welds, and totally protect the inside of that cross member, which is where rust is prone to start. No, it always starts because it holds moisture. It's usually not protected, right? It's not painted or anything like that. So we have a couple of different things here. So this gun here comes with the kit. It's a good gun. It's great if you're just going to do it a couple of times. If you want to upgrade, we have this gun here, which is the same, works on the same principle. It's a cup, okay, made in Italy. It just has controls for pattern, and you can control the performance. This comes with one hose. This comes with two. That's a more rigid hose. If you have a problem with it being too rigid, put it in warm water and it'll loosen right up. This will shoot 360 and straight out the end. If you want to get a really nice gun, or next step up, this is a high pressure gun, 125 pounds high pressure, we'll call it, right? That gun comes with a little wand. And if you're going to do this, and you guys are going to do it as a dealer, right, you may want to get this gun, because what we can do with this gun, and Joey will show you, we've virtually never drill. We take that tip and we'll just fog inside the drains of the doors. We actually, last week, we had to replace a set of 4 speakers. It's the first time we've had a problem with speakers in all the years we've been in business, and tens of thousands of vehicles. These were aftermarket speakers. We have an advisory bulletin out to our dealers on this. These were aftermarket speakers. They had absolutely no protection on them, and they were low, and they were connected to the metal frame. The oil went in, creeped up, did its job, and it got on the speaker, and boom, he must have cranked it, and it cracked. So what we're doing now is we're telling people, if you have them, we're not going to spray them. And if you want to spray them, it's up to you. You could take a can and you could spray a little in at the bottom. What we will do is spray the seam, okay? We just don't want to have problems. So this is great. This is a great tool for that, okay? And then you can get into, this is a Canadian-made gun, basically does the same thing. It's just a slightly higher quality. Dealers are going to get into something like this. This is like a Graco spray gun on steroids. It's all quick disconnect. So you got a 6-inch, 4-inch fan. We have this is, if you ever use this, don't use this first because you won't ever touch one of those cup guns. That is a 45-degree spray. So you can get up on top of that frame, inside the frame, and very easily. It makes for a nice, easy, smooth, consistent application. This is a carbide tip, as is this one, okay? Anyone have any questions so far? Okay, so that's that. All right, so Joey, I'm going to show one other thing too. If you have a brand new vehicle, I don't know anyone here is interested in this, but we have an alternative to the oil if you want to use it or you want to think about it or investigate it. This is a semi-hard, standalone, one-time application, only on a brand new vehicle. We put this on, everything that's exposed on the undercarriage, it's a black, we call it a wax and oil. What we do is we try to, a lot of people buy a brand new vehicle, they don't want oil on their vehicle. I understand. You put that on the undercarriage, and then we oil the body cavities. It's really the best of both. And everything we do is a maintenance program. So, you're going to want to do this every year, Dave, because the oil's going to come off. But, you're going to be able to see if there's a problem area too, right? And you get to monitor the performance of the product. But I think it's important, back in the 80s, not everyone remembers this, but back in the 80s, rustproofing was huge. There were companies like Rusty Jones. There still is another company out there. In the 80s, I'd say they had 75% of the market on new cars. So everyone that had a new car, they got it rust-proofed. What happened? I don't know. The industry's gone. I don't know. Everyone has their theory. I have mine. But today, the whole reason why I got into this is I just can't afford to keep buying a pickup truck. Back in the 80s, 100,000 miles on your vehicle, it was really not worth much because the engines didn't go a whole lot more than that. So today, I just bought a Tahoe for my son, has almost 200,000 miles on it, right? And if he doesn't put many miles on it, it'll go 3 or 4 years. So what's going to kill that is rust. Rust is going to kill that. And back in the 80s, the metal was a lot thicker. I don't know if it was better. We can argue that. But it certainly was about twice as thick, if not 3 times as it is now. And they didn't have to deal with road brimes. So my whole purpose was, I just want to extend the life of that vehicle. That's all I want to do. And that is the philosophy behind everything that we do now. I just want to be able to give you an affordable way to just extend the life of your vehicle. For the guys that do it in their garage, it's a win-win because you guys are doing it for your customers. And as a byproduct of that, you are extending the service life of that. If we do it right, solve the problem, give good customer service, all that stuff. If the product's good, if it works for you, Dave, then the money will be a byproduct of that. And my goal really is just come up with the best product and help people like I want to extend the life of the vehicle. So I think I covered almost, I think I talked enough. Anybody else? Any questions before Joey gets into undercoating?
Just related to the body panels, like below, you want to talk about that?
How we're going to get into the areas. Yep. So Dave says, are we going to cover how we get into the body panels? Yes, we're going to cover all that. Before Joey's going to lower the vehicle, and before he does it, I'm going to explain what he's doing, why he's doing it, how he does it. He's going to show you a couple of different pieces of equipment. He's going to start off with this gun, I think. He's going to use, I think, this gun. And then he's going to just use this gun because this is what we use in our shop, right? That's a high-pressure system. It goes in a 55. It's an air-assisted, airless sprayer made in Canada. So getting your vehicle ready, getting it prepped, I would say, is the cleaner the vehicle is, the better the job, right? So this truck came in from Maine, probably had to drive down dirt roads, right? So it had some mud on it. So Joey spent a little bit of time kind of blowing it off. Before you bring your vehicle in or before you do your own vehicle, I would suggest that you high pressure wash it. Now, it's ideal if you do it dry, okay? But we do have water displacement qualities in the oil, so it will displace the water. If you wash it the day before and then undercoat it the next day, that would be an ideal scenario. Any loose, flaky stuff should be taken off. Otherwise, it's going to fall off. You're just wasting your money on your product. Joey uses a descaler. It's a needle gun, they call it, and a wire brush. You could put that on a cordless drill or just a handheld brush, okay? Here's a hammer Dan was going to show you. You know, if you want to tap on your frame, if that hammer goes through, I think you better take it to your mechanic. You have a problem. But you could tap on your frame and just listen to it. You can hear the difference, and if it's soft, really check it out. So Joey blew this off. In a case like this truck here, we would probably recommend that the customer spend half an hour descaling that, right? We didn't account for that today, so we're going to go over it. He uses our product, one of our dealers, and he's going to take care of it at a later date. So we're going to cover this vehicle. We're going to use black on this vehicle. There's a couple of different things. If you buy black, understand that We call it back and black. So we want you to get all the original components that were black from the factory back to the original color. We're not saying that we're going to give you jet black on everything. You really don't want to do that for a couple of reasons. He's got gray floorboards. On a black frame, it's easy to take 1 or 2 passes, which is proper coverage, and get your black color back. If you try to do that on a gray piece of material, it's going to take probably twice as much product to make a consistent black. You just did 2 things: wasted material, and you likely are going to have drips. By the way, this is a dripless product. Dripless in that you're going to experience a few drips. Right? I'm going to put that on the website and get, I want people to understand, because there's areas that you're going to spray more product on just because you just can't be that consistent. And you may get a few drips. I have people sending me pictures of 3 or 4 drips, and I'm sorry. Oil-based rustproofing really works. There's drawbacks to it. It's like salt stops, you from sliding around on the road, but you get white stains everywhere. Just go into it knowing that. So he's going to spray black. How are you going to do this, Joey? You're going to spray black and clear?
Yeah, I could do samples of both right here on this.
So I would say just spray the black on the black components and then maybe clear on the rest of the, okay? So everyone does it a little bit different. Just understand though, if you buy a black do-it-yourself kit, this truck should be more than a gallon, but not more than a gallon and a half, and that's proper coverage, okay? The black, you can spray it everywhere. It's just going to be a tinge of black on everything that's not black from the factory, okay? And that's proper coverage. If you're in a shop and you're doing it, everyone has a different way of doing it. Me personally, I hit everything with one gun, black, and then I spray everything else in clear. Joey's also going to cover one of the weakest points of this whole application, this whole service, is wheel wells. The abrasive nature of this undercarriage is tough enough as it is. That's a sandblasting cabinet right there. So what we've come up with is a real heavy-duty version of our product that we brush on. We sell it. It's called Wheel Well Guard, okay? This shop, believe it or not, and we have just installed a salt fog testing cabinet. We're going to use that as a reference, but really the only test that I care about is your vehicle. So we have about 4,000 vehicles come through here every year. We monitor them every year. We have some customers we try different things with, and they allow us to. We say, will you bring it back and let us watch it? So what we're looking for is what works. So we've been able to, depending on your driving habit, is a big part of the equation, but we've been able to extend the life of the protection and the wheel wells with this product. Not perfect. None of the stuff is perfect. And when you're fighting rust, it's like cancer. There's no way you can beat it, but you can just kind of help control it a little bit. The wheel well guard is brushed on. So Joey's going to start to spray some of this. He's going to just blow off some of that dust so you can see what the mud that's on there should come off. A couple of things you should be careful of is I mentioned the speakers, and we're coming out with a biodegradable, I hope soon, formula that won't do this. But right now, soft natural rubber, usually found on the weather strippings of doors, can swell with this. So you want to spend extra time just being careful. Joey he uses a brush to go on the seams as opposed to spraying it. It will swell it. I won't worry about anything else in the vehicle. I cover everything?
Try not to get too much in the exhaust.
Okay. So he has rust on the door here, by the way. I don't know if you can see that. On the back of my truck, how many years? I don't know, 2-3 years now. I got into an accident and I didn't want to fix it, and it's exposed metal, so I just keep spraying oil on it, and it hasn't gotten any worse. Doesn't look great, but it's not getting any worse. So there's got to be questions.
So black, I think, is probably something easy to inspect over time. How about the clear?
Okay, so Dave said black is easy to inspect over time. How about the clear? Yeah, the black is, right? And the clear will actually get dirty because when you're driving, you're going to have dust and stuff. What you can do is, if you want, Dave, spray it on and, maybe like, well, one thing you want to avoid is high pressure undercarriage washes, okay? So during the winter, if you have to, go through it once or twice. Don't do it on a regular weekly basis. The black is going to make it easier for you to know. But honestly, I can tell you now, your vehicle is not going to be a whole lot different than the 4,000 that come through here every year. If you just apply it once a year diligently, you are going to substantially decrease the corrosion on that vehicle. One of these days, I'm going to have some of my old customers come in here who have been oiling their vehicles way before I started. And I got to tell you, you look at that vehicle, it's amazing the difference between a vehicle that somebody has been proactive with. And that's the key here. It's being proactive. No matter what you do, if you're proactive, I have guys that they'll sandblast it and paint it. Okay, that's great. That's a different approach. But the fact that you're doing that is good. I mean, it's like cholesterol. I talked to my doctor about high cholesterol. He says, you're borderline, don't worry about it. He says, just that you're aware of it and you're thinking about it in all your decisions and everything you do means you'll probably lower it. So I think you can apply that towards the mindset with corrosion. So, questions? Yep, Scott?
How does this treatment compare with like a POR-15?
So POR-15 is it's a very different approach towards, see, oil is the most forgiving way to treat pre-existing rust. And I hate to say it, brand new cars come in here with rust. But I had a 72 Plymouth, and I brought it in my buddy's shop. It didn't have a lot of rust, but I wore my best glasses, and I looked for rust everywhere. If I thought there was a spot there, I'd drill it and body fill it. I missed a microcosm of rust that burrowed beneath the surface. And within 3 months, I had a bubble because the rust started to grow, all right? I kind of trapped it in there. So nothing's perfect. If you sandblast it and use PR-15, I think that's great, right? But if you miss it, and you will, because you just can't get it. Like I say, it's just too difficult. There's going to be something growing under there. And you're going to find it later on when it probably has grown quite a bit. A lot of people today will just spray right over it. And they sell it as encapsulators, right? I don't think it's a good, I don't agree with it. I just don't. Our wax, when people come in, they'll have vehicles, they'll say, it's a couple of years old, but it doesn't have your rust on it. Nah, we won't do it. So we're very conservative. We did do a 15-year-old truck, though, from Arizona. That place is amazing. So, okay, any other questions?
Kind of along the same lines, like Corabon, which is more of a chemical stop rust product.
So it's probably like an acid.
Yeah.
So we do actually, here at my shop, we offer what we call a restoration. So we could take a truck like that. Is that what we did on yours? Oh, cool. So how long ago?
You were still up at the original.
Oh, in Deering? Yeah. So, and we're going to be manufacturing, hopefully, and selling that product to people. So it's just a way of saying, okay, I haven't done anything to my vehicle for X amount of years, and I want to begin an oil-based rustproofing maintenance program, but I want to try to make up for those years I didn't do anything. So what we'll do is we'll bring it in, we'll descale it. We have to leave some rust on there. We bring it down to like a surface rust, and then we hit it with a couple of coats of acid. Actually, the military does this. We bid on their contracts. They do almost exactly the same thing we do. Or I do what they do. I don't. They've probably been doing it longer than me. But the acid will neutralize the rust, and so we'll do that. We'll let it set overnight, a couple of coats of acid, and then we oil it. Because we're not going to kill all the rust. The oil is really the magic ingredient here. If you don't come back and oil it every year, it's going to come through. It's going to. Because as I said, the chemicals can only reach so deep into that rust. It's some down so deep that I just can't reach it. But the oil will deprive it of oxygen, and if there's moisture, it'll be taken out. And so with that out of the equation, done. No oxidation, right? How's yours holding up?
I did not bring it back like you told me to.
Aha. All right. Yeah.
It has accelerated back again, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it's
Well, come in. You know, for us, our service on that. You know, I mean, we're not going to turn you away. We'll take care of any rust that comes through, no charge, and I'm sure we'll help you out with that one. But it's critical that you keep the oil on there every year, right? All right. So, and Dave, you have a trailer, a camper. So there are guys out there that if you don't want to do it, will come out and do it. We have a couple of mobile guys. You go on our website and you can find them. I answered all your questions this morning. See, I shouldn't have done that. All right. So, Joey, I'm ready to let you go. Am I missing anything? All right. So what do you want to start with?
I'll do a tiny bit of descaling just to show them how maybe some of the tools work, and
Yep.
we'll just start spraying. Unfortunately, there's plastic in those wheel wells, so I don't know about.
So he has plastic in the wheel well, so you're not going to get to see the wheel well guard in this particular truck.
It's up there. You can show them what it looks
Yeah, this is it. It's just a thick,
like. That.
it's a thick, very thick grease, okay? We put it on with the brush, okay? As far as spraying it, can you get me a rag? As far as spraying this, everyone has a different way of doing it. I usually go from the front of the truck back in that direction, and then from the back this direction, and then I walk around the perimeter. I use a flashlight. We have lights on the lift. We use a flashlight and spray it. You would be surprised how many times you can walk around that thing and continue to find spots. It's just the way it is. Thank you. Joey will show you some of the areas that you want to apply the product to. Rocker panels, almost every vehicle today has factory access points. You don't need to drill holes. 99.9% of the vehicles that come through here, we don't drill holes. If we have to, we'll ask the customer. We also are putting together a database of access points for different vehicles. Like some vehicles will drill in and they have foam. You just wasted your time because you can't spray in there. And that foam is there for structural reasons as well as sound and some others. So access points on the doors, 99.9% of the time, right in the drain holes. Can you get me a can of oil with a tube on it? So you can take, if you buy a can of oil with our tubes, you can actually go in those. You don't need a lot. The oil will go up inside and creep, right? Tailgate on a pickup truck, which is 75% of our business is pickup trucks and SUVs. I don't know why, it just is. Tailgates, there's always holes inside. You can spray inside. Get the seam where it bends over. That's a real weak point, right? If rust has come through, you're only going to slow it down. Once it's come through, it's too late, right? We'll open up the hood. He's going to get inside the hood. He's going to get the seam of the hood. So that right there will work inside your door panels. Okay, that little tube right there. By the way, if you buy our black in a can, shake it a lot. We had a lot of options on what we could put in that can, and we wanted the right product in there. And we want the biodegradable tint and everything that we use. It makes it a little bit of a challenge sometimes coming out of the can, but it's a good product. I had a lot of options that we passed on with cheaper stuff, you know, and it's a pain, but I really wanted it to be effective. So, rocker panels, door panels, tailgates, hood, what other type of areas? Make sure.
Get above these by opening the hood and getting
Yep.
the plastic. We'll
So-
show that when it's down.
So he's going to show you how you want to get inside and over your wheel wells, because there's a wheel well, then there's a double wheel well. It's usually, so you can access it with this tube usually from the front and the back. He'll show you watch how he goes into the wheel well in the front. He's going to show you the access point is right at the corner above the light, and usually right in here, okay? Avoid breaks. you know, stuff is going to get on there a little bit, and you can just hold your foot on the brake and it'll burn off within 10 minutes, okay? Avoid exhaust systems. You don't need it. It's going to burn off. It smokes. You can see virtually all the vehicles that leave here, they have a little smoke trail when they leave. I know they came from our shop. And that bothers some people, and that's why I say no, this isn't for everybody, right? So I think that covers about everything. You want to, when you do, you have frames, whether they're open or closed, this is open, you want in the frame. And it may take a couple of applications to actually get to the metal inside the frame, because especially Jeeps or closed frames, you may have 1/4 inch of dust and dirt inside there. So it's going to take 2 applications to make its way through that dust and that dirt to get down to the frame. Once it does, great. That's why you should start it first and then let that stuff go on top, and it's like another layer of protection. Good? Okay, so Joey's going to spray a little, do a little bit of prepping right here. Then he's just going to have that spraying. Anytime you want to stop us, and we'll answer questions. Okay? Hold it, one more.
Is it worth your extra time trying to flood the inside of a closed frame to try to get some of the debris out? Or are you putting way too much moisture in there that just won't split?
No, well, what you mean with water?
Yeah, say you have a frame with that.
I wouldn't do it with water. Okay, so the question was, is it worth, you know, how do you try to get some of the debris that's inside the frame out? I wouldn't use water, but I would use air. We've done that on some Jeeps. It's taken a long time. I mean, a long time. Again, the inside or the outside, the same applies to my previous comment, which is that the cleaner your surface, the better the application, right? Okay? Good. All right, so we done? Okay. All right, Joey, let's move this.